Hello and welcome to our second day of WarhammerFest 2022's preview review. I am JF Dubois and with me is my good friend Amy Frost. Amy, I'm used to saying "How are you doing?"
I
because
know.
we used to do that on other podcasts, but I think here no one
No
cares
one
how we
cares.
feel.
We don't care.
Nobody
I
cares.
don't care. It's fine.
I'm not into it myself. We're here to talk about my specialty and yours, Age of Sigmar.
So for those of you who don't know us from other stuff on the internet, we are not Age of Sigmar players. But that's not to say that we don't love the
The
models an
will
awful
is
lot.
there.
It is.
I want to be.
I want to. So a lot of the rule stuff is maybe a little fuzzier for us, but we'll do our best.
I like that both of us are Adam Troke levels of casual players in 40k, and yet there is a game that we somehow are even less
I mean,
knowledgeable about.
to be fair, my investment in 40k is only slightly higher.
My investment is high, but I I am the narrative player. I'm that guy. I use power levels more and more nowadays.
So good. So Sigmar. They made a big deal about this preview, and I don't know that it delivered on that big deal. Largely because
Caveat, we maybe don't get, because here's the thing, like in 40k, if something's been lingering for a while and there's a lot of anticipation and they show it to us, even if it's not much, we'll get excited. We
my
don't know that meta for
my big thing
AOS.
was it the Adepticon preview where there was a teaser video about the rats? There
But
has
yeah,
been
but
a teaser video about the rats, and all we got was, I'm gonna go ahead and hit this button because all we got was, no, don't get me wrong, he's great, but we got the Skaven Master. Now, fabulous model, love this guy.
it's adorable. I love it. It
I
doesn't have a black nose.
It does not have a black nose because rats don't have black noses, even though I believe all the Underworld's ones are painted that way. He does fit in real nice with the Underworld's rats, should you care to put them together. But this guy, and obviously their new battle tome, but this is it for the Skaven that we got.
It's underwhelming because I had built in my head a lot of expectations about what we're gonna see. And Skaven, listen, when I first got into Warhammer at all, like any Warhammer, all bases covered, was when I was, I think, the tender age of 12 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And my first models were a box of Metal Skaven because I was really into the idea of playing Murderous Mickey Mouse. And obviously, from then it branched out to a bunch of other things, and I stopped playing for a very long time. But Skaven have always had like a place in my heart. Like they have the Doom Wheel, they have so many cool, fun, quirky things going on from them. So I was really excited to see what they were going to show us, but at the same time, I didn't know what else they could be showing.
I mean,
us,
that's true. That's absolutely true.
which both makes it more and less exciting. Like it's more exciting because what are they going to come up with now? But less exciting in that they probably won't come up with anything and we'll just get a Death Master.
Yeah. I mean, it's great, and a new battle tome is always good.
Yeah.
Not gonna complain about that. But
I could tell, and maybe I'm injecting a lot of speculation, but I could tell that maybe there wasn't much to say by how
Yeah.
much time Adam and Eddie spent talking about the base.
it is a good base, though.
It's a good base.
But that led into, I feel like, the meat of what this preview had to offer, and that was the Sylvaneth, which got quite a few fun new things.
I did not anticipate that, and that is a threat.
Yeah, it is. So we started off with the Lady of Vines, who is back after her untimely death in the Realm Gate Wars. And there's a lot of stuff I love about this model. Killing the Plague
I bet
Bearer.
I know what the
It's very good.
That is the best part.
It's real good. The way that they painted her headpiece is incredible.
It's a lovely shade of green.
Yeah. And especially for a model that has a bunch of shades of green on it, they've done a good job really separating out the materials. But this was only like... Oh, go ahead.
You don't see that very often, but it looks like they put a very subtle object source lighting in the back. Like where her...
on her leaves.
Yeah, exactly. Like her leaves are a lot brighter, closer to the top and closer to the spear. And this is not something that you see because you've heard my comments on box art a lot, and this is kind of above and beyond. A lot of what we see for these Sylvaneth is above and beyond what we're used to seeing for box art.
Absolutely, and that goes right into these guys, who are the Gossamid Archers, who are afforded flight. These are not their wings. They have symbiotic Zephyr Spites. I do love that all of their bugs are called Spites. Like, it's very good. It's an entire army powered by Spite, and what is not to love?
Yeah, I'm here for that. Like, Spite's been a driving force in my life recently. Here's what makes these guys extra creepy, and I'm not talking 40k level chaos cult mutant creepy, but like these are elf spirit bound to trees, carried by bugs. Like
there's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
A lot, and they're not the only new bugs we've got, because we also have the Spiterider Lancers. On their big, almost not quite dragonflies, they do have the dumbest faces in the best way.
The bugs have dumb, angry faces, and I'm here
good.
for it.
It's very good.
So, on one hand, I feel like the wings are a bit small for what they are, which is fine. I'll live.
It's magic.
Yeah, that does. That'll do. The other problem I have, I have Sylvaneth models.
Yeah.
I have a dry cut that I built recently that we were going to paint for a stream. I'm already a little invested in Sylvaneth, and now they're putting all these bugs out. Like they're saying, hey, here's some bug wings and some bug people, and they're doing this right on the tail of me having a lot of fun painting a Hellamite from Necromunda Ashwaste.
Yeah.
So it's like I got the itch, haha, bugs, get it? So I got the itch of painting bugs by painting that one and thinking, that'll be enough. I don't want to get into invested. And then they go, oh yeah, but what if they were part of an army that you've wanted to paint for a game that you've wanted to play? So, I'm not angry, but
they can also come in another flavor. The Revenant Seekers.
berry.
Berry, cinnamon.
You've got mint and then cherry or cinnamon.
And it says that their task is to harvest the life energy of fallen Sylvaneth to resurrect their allies, which that sounds like a heck of a mechanic.
Apparently the mechanic is that it just makes them more powerful.
That's fine.
Which is fine, but elven type creatures harvesting the souls of their fallen comrades so that they don't get consumed by chaos is something that it's a very 40k thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, Warhammer elves, regardless of which game system they're in, they really lean hard into that.
They're really worried about their souls.
They are.
But what's interesting is that these guys are saving the souls from Nurgle, not Slaanesh. So, variety.
Yeah. They hate Nurgle. So, obviously, along with these models, we are getting the new Sylvaneth Battle Tome, and that will be incredibly exciting.
This, if I can just add one more thing, I know we don't want to belabor too much,
No, it's fine.
but this has done a lot to make me more interested in Age of Sigmar lore than before, because they mention things like the War of Life, which is like usually when you hear about a war, it's always the war of this or that place, or the war of that length of time, and it's like it's always got like either a geographic, chronological, or dark undertone. But a war of life is very interesting.
Yeah.
Sylvaneth versus Nurgle, and then they talked about how that character that we saw is the literal right hand of, I think, the Everqueen.
Yep.
So like the idea of maybe like cut it off and it grew back into a supporting character.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Like a handmaiden, and the handmaiden of Everqueen, like back in the old fantasy, like that was a thing. Like they had models and stuff. So to see them kind of brought back as individual characters, or right now an individual character, is like, this is all stuff that connects back to some of my original interest in what was Warhammer Fantasy and is now Age of Sigmar. So I'm gonna have to start picking up the core book again and just leafing through that.
Leafing.
Yeah. Leafing, yes. I'm
so sorry.
Really, I'm doing it. I'm pulling out the hits.
We got some more chaos on this side in the form of some big stompy dudes. These are the Ogroid Theridons. So we've had a couple of other Ogroids. There's the one in Warcry. There's another one that I cannot entirely remember which one it is. But so now we got these guys. They come in, again, 2 flavors. You can have your 2-handed weapons or your sword and board. And they're big old dudes. Coming to fight, for chaos, as one does.
And I if I remember clearly, like anytime we get a big muscular dude with big horns and an angry face, the painting community latches onto that.
Yeah.
Like they love painting big muscles and angry faces.
Angry faces. It's true. I mean, it is fun to do. These guys are, they're pretty great. I love a big banner.
Yeah. It's a good place for some freehand. There's a lot of room for some non-metallic metallics.
Mm-hmm.
You got them hooves that can be positioned on really big, elaborate bases.
Yep.
These have got Golden Demon written all over them.
So these guys are going to be a heavy infantry option for slaves to darkness. So the thing that came after this in the preview is it's actually something I'm really interested in how they're going to do, and the preview that they gave harkens back to another preview that we've had on the 40K side before. So they are bringing back the free cities, the Cities of Sigmar, and what they've shown us are sort of the iconography that they've designed so far. And this is almost identical. I mean, obviously, like, the imagery itself is not, but this preview is almost identical to one of the first Sisters of Battle previews that we ever had after they announced that the sisters were coming. So that's, like, interesting to me that they've sort of gone this way. They're like, here are symbols.
Right. And it's interesting in the sense, and going back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video, is you and I know a lot more about how the community acts and thinks towards 40K than we do about Age of Sigmar. So I assume that after a few years of Age of Sigmar with no proper basic non-god blessed humans to play, there's probably been a where are the humans movement in the community. So seeing this must be, I mean, I would be excited. Like, I usually don't play the humans, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're gonna do humans, you gotta do them interesting. And I mean, I love a good Memento Mori as much as the next guy, so they have got that down for me.
And a lot of this, like twin comets, the
Yep.
word Sigmar everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The top right image looks like something you would bring to a football game if the team was called Sigmar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or your tattoo artist if you've had one too many.
mm,
Like, I want this
agreed.
guy. So that's all we have for this so far. Like, this is a big undertaking. It's going to take a while before this is all comes together, but we know it's on the way. What's coming a lot sooner, however, is the General's Handbook, pitch battles for the next 6 months. Now, the first thing I want to say,
you were salty about
I am
this.
a little salty about this because this is clearly visible in this image. It is spiral bound, and how come they get spiral binding and 40k does not? I'm ready to riot. I was like, hang on. I don't understand. Because I went, well, the printing world being what it is at the moment, I understand spiral binding is an extra step. I understand that you don't want to do that, and that's okay, Games Workshop. Wait a minute. How dare. So
I would be very curious to know what determines if they go spiral bound or not, because we've had
we've
had some of these books
Crusade
spiral
books.
bound. Yeah, exactly. So nothing's stopping them.
It's all right. So one of the interesting things that they have talked about is sort of the theme for this set of pitched battles is that whereas the previous one, or the current one, I suppose, has focused a lot on monsters and big stompies, this is your infantry are now veterans of this war, so you get bonuses to your infantry, which, like, that is a really interesting proposition to me.
It feels to me like they're doing the same thing with this as they're doing with 40k's chapter approved.
Right, with the
In
command
that,
points.
exactly, they're testing out a new way to apply the rules, probably to steer the gameplay and the metas in certain directions, which is good. And they're doing it in these kind of walled off sections of the gameplay to see how it goes, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. The other thing that they are doing the same as the way that 40k is handling it, they are providing points updates for free, which is super cool.
It's super cool, but yet somehow a little less exciting for Age of Sigmar,
Yeah,
because
you
Age
can
of Sigmar's already had them.
Yeah. But still, we've made a point of saying it, and
Yes.
I'm there.
I'm still gonna cheer them on for it.
Yeah, so the final reveal is, I think, pretty interesting. What they've done is there are 2 new books coming out for the Black Library, and they have put out models for each of them. So we've got Vampire Fellow, who is Kato Ezekaiar. I did it. I messed it up. It's fine. He's been in a couple of short stories, but now he is going to have his own book, The Hollow King. And we have Drecky Flint, again, who has been in a couple of short stories, and he now has the Argonaut's Oath. And I do love these, like, Black Library models.
I like the idea of them bringing in
Yeah.
characters like that. It's not the first time they've done it. They don't seem to do it too often, so we're
No.
not flooded with them.
But they're doing it more, because I feel like Gaunt's Ghost was, like, the first big one recently, right? And they've done a few more. And this
They've done the demon hunting sister of battle and her Eldar buddy. They did an Inquisitor with a tiny dragon.
Yep.
So yeah, they're not doing it very frequently. They've done Gaunt's Ghost,
Yep.
which was very exciting for people who are into Gaunt's Ghost.
Yes.
I'm Like I'm into Warhammer 40k for the 40k aspect. So World War II infantry and tanks is not my jam. So Imperial Guards don't strike my fancy quite as much. Although
Yeah.
I do love Valkyrie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean they're doing this more and more. And one thing I do appreciate is that they're doing a lot of it in a non-space marine,
Yes.
non-Sigmarite kind of way.
Yeah.
Really picking some colorful, distinct characters.
They are, and that's good. It's good that they're doing that outside of just say like the specials, like the store anniversary or event special models, which are hard to get. Like, this is good. I like, because I like painting models, and so I like the fancy ones.
Same, and those are super fancy, and it does also open the door now. Every time we watch Warhammer TV, every time you read a Black Library book, you got to ask yourself, like, oh, are they next? Are these like, is this cool character that I'm getting really attached to gonna be a model?
Yeah.
Should I convert it ahead of time? Like it really fires up the imagination,
Yeah.
which I feel is a key component to this hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was pretty much it for the Age of Sigmar preview, which is still a lot. Like, I say that like it's flippant, but it wasn't 3 varieties of chaos cultists and their HQ and a demon. You know, it felt real big yesterday, and this feels smaller, even though that Sylvaneth update is pretty significant.
It does feel more massive, and I don't want to feel like we're being dismissive about it. It's just that we don't know the system enough to really make a meal out of reviewing this preview.
The good news is that tomorrow is box games, and that, at least, like, certainly I do, and I know you know at least some of them. And good news, what is it called? Is it Lord of the Rings? Is that what it is? Is it called the Lord of the Rings one?
The Middle Earth.
That's it.
Middle Earth is getting something apparently.
Which they were very excited about. So I guess we will stay tuned for that. So we will do another one of these tomorrow after the preview. In the meantime, if you could drop us that subscribe button so that we can do all of the things that a YouTube channel needs to do when it is new. That'd be fantastic. You can follow us on Twitter at Warham Workshop. And until then, we'll see you tomorrow.